the skill of execution of your knowledge, the greater your creativity in exercising that knowledge, then you become a skilled artist at your craft. So you're not only involved in the science of medicine, you are involved in the art of healing. Now, this world, however, is a world that has been more physical than spiritual. And it has not yet learned how to link the spiritual with the physical. So as you become a scientist and skilled at healing the physical, what is the standard by which you measure the health of the person spiritually, morally, and mentally? Now, you know the criterion for the physical body, but what is the criterion for the spiritual, the mental? That is not taught. But the
Good evening and welcome to the How to Save Lives broadcast. Our subject today is health and beauty one and the same? In the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful, we welcome you, and we are going to have a great show this evening because we have a wonderful guest who has a wealth of knowledge to share with you all this evening. So let me start with reading our special guest bios. Sister Vivian L. Muhammad. In 2006, after a number of years working for various businesses, including her own hair care manufacturing company, Sister Vivian began to finally tap into what she considers to be her calling. That's the year she tore up her family backyard and planted a garden. Sister Vivian is now an urban organic farmer, and along with her family, she operates an urban farm complex known as the Elephant Gardens, which comprises 2 quarter-acre lots located in the heart of one of Indianapolis's food deserts. The vision of the Elephant Gardens is to transform the community in which it is located by promoting a culture of health, beauty, and clean living. Indeed, the Elephant Gardens mission is its business to establish a sustainable source of nutrient-rich organic produce for its community, and to engage and train both the adults and the youth in and around her community to become helpers in this cause. With no further delay, let's welcome our special guest here, Sister Vivian Muhammad.
Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for having me. I feel blessed to be here, Sister Patrice. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, first of all, I want to say that I am grateful for this opportunity to tell a little bit about what we do and to discuss this subject of health and beauty. I think you kind of mentioned in the bio that I had a hair care company, and we manufacture hair care products. And as I worked in that field and then transitioned into growing food, I realized that there was a gap between the concept of health and beauty. When I sold hair care products, it was called the health and beauty aids industry, but we never talked about health. Most of the things that were comprised the health and beauty industry has to do with external applications, and not anything that impacts the body internally, and certainly not anything that addresses our spiritual well-being. So a few years into having the garden, we established what I'm sitting in right now, which is a little shed. And a few years later, we decided to call it our health and beauty bodega, because we wanted to show our customers and our neighborhood that really they're inseparable terms. And we wanted to show them that they are inextricably connected. You can't have true health and not be beautiful, and you can't be beautiful if you're not fully healthy. And healthy, as the minister said in the clip you played, really is three-dimensional, right? We are talking physical, but we're also talking mental, spiritual. And so all of these things are what we attempt to address in our humble quarter-acre lots called the Elephant Gardens.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I was just adding your contact information at the bottom so they can see it scrolling at the bottom to contact you. Okay, so with that, please start posting your questions. And I wanted to just ask, why did you call it or term it the Elephant Gardens? Tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you for asking. We do get asked that quite a bit. When we were first coming up with the concept for our urban farms, we started thinking about what we really wanted to do for our community. We're located very near where we've lived since 1970, and the area in which we farm, as you read, is a food desert. And I thought about the elephants because elephants are herbivores, number one. So even though they have a very large footprint, it is a very green footprint. They are sustained by herbs. And I thought, man, that tells a really strong message about the power of eating vegetables and fruits and things that come up from the earth. The second reason is because they are very, very loyal to their pack or their community, extremely loyal. And the third reason is that they are fiercely, and I do mean fiercely, protective of their youth. And we wanted our urban farm to kind of exude that energy, that the youth have a safe place here at our farm. And we wanted to teach and train the youth to become young farmers. And so the elephant kind of encompassed all of those ideas. And so the Elephant Gardens it was. And it is also low-key a shout out to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan with the trumpet or the elephant trunk blowing. In fact, on our website, we don't have it anymore. Our elephant used to actually blow.
Oh, wow.
But so I got outruled. Some people thought that was corny, but I loved it.
Yes. I love it too. Well, tell me a little bit more about, because we were discussing this the other day and you stated it in your opening statement. Just, health, it can encompass beauty. Of course, it does encompass beauty. But you said when you had gotten into the health and wellness space, there was not much talk about, when we were talking, you stated there was not an emphasis on health necessarily. Yes, beauty, we're talking about the nails, and we're talking about the weave and, all of these, aesthetics that that as women, we try to add to make us quote unquote beautiful. So tell me a little bit more about your thoughts, or when you started to develop the thought and notice, yeah, we're talking about beauty, those external things. But what do we need to be doing inside that can help us to reflect that beauty?
Right. So in the hair care industry, it was my father who really got me started in the hair care industry. And he had been a salesperson and owned beauty supply stores, et cetera, for years. And then he began manufacturing hair care products. And one of the things that he did before he passed was he changed all of the shampoos and conditioners and took out all of the SLS that was in them, sodium lauryl sulfate, and all the fates, all the sulfates and all those things, because those are extremely harmful to the scalp and extremely harmful to the entire body. I mean, sometimes there's SLS in toothpaste. Now you can buy toothpaste and you'll see it'll say no SLS, because it can break you out. It does all kinds of things. It really strips a whole layer off of your skin. It's very bad for you. But there were many other ingredients that were also not healthy. And so he started on that journey with our shampoo and conditioner, making sure that we were pulling out anything that was harmful to the hair. And I kind of took that a little further. My father passed in 2002, and with the reins of the company in my hands, I was very concerned about these hair shows where I would see, as you mentioned, all kinds of external applications in the name of beauty. And it's called the health and beauty industry. But there was almost zero conversation about health, almost zero. And so I thought, why is that? Because the truth of the matter is most of the things that impact hair growth, hair health, and skin, nails, everything else are really internal. A small amount is external, but a large amount is internal. And so I began to teach more about what to eat and not eat, what to do and not do internally that would impact hair. And so this is kind of where that led me. And
Okay. Yeah. No, please continue if you have something else to say.
Well, just that, there are so many harsh chemicals. Let me start with the health and beauty aids industry, specifically the hair care industry. There are so many harsh chemicals that are used still to this day. We're just now finding out, and there was an article in the Final Call about both of these issues, that weave has so many carcinogenic elements in it, and
Yes.
other things like lead. And they tested major companies and found that, and when I say they tested hair weave from some of the most popular brands.
Mm-hmm.
All of these damaging ingredients were in fact in the weave. This just came out a few months back. Along with that, and there was even a class action lawsuit brought against certain hair care companies regarding perm. It has been known for years that what we call perm can be extremely damaging, especially if used year after year after year after year. It has a cumulative effect, goes right into your bloodstream through your scalp, Many beauticians were suffering from cancer of the spleen and other things, and they found a direct link between that and their exposure to the toxins that were in many of the hair care products.
Right.
So that kind of learning all of that, that kind of took me down that journey of going, wait a minute, what are we doing here? We're talking about beauty, and yet the ways that we are approaching beauty are devoid of any conversation about what goes into the body, which is the main determining factor of your skin, hair, nails. And we are putting a lot of things on us in the name of beauty that are extremely harmful. So it's like, what's wrong with this picture? So that started the journey. And then once we started really growing our urban farm business, I realized that a lot of my sisters and brothers in my neighborhood, when you started just talking about health, meaning I could say to them, oh, these apples are so good for you, you know, they can help lower your blood pressure, or do this or do that. That had some appeal, but and pardon the expression, it just wasn't sexy enough, you know. It didn't just do the job. And but when
Right.
I said, you know, if you want your nails to grow faster or to be stronger, eat more this, that, or the other. All of a sudden, I got their attention. And I realized that, you know, um, there is a connection between health and beauty, and that I needed to maybe focus on that a little bit more in that language to be able to reach the masses of my people, especially in my neighborhood, to get them to adopt a healthier lifestyle.
Absolutely. And it's kind of unfortunate that we have to dangle an external appearance, something externally, to cause us to work on what's internal, because what is not talked about enough is what goes in is what is reflected outward.
Absolutely.
So if you're healthy on the inside, you're drinking enough water, you're taking in enough nutrient dense fruits and vegetables, you're taking in enough good other, you know, combinations of foods, then that's going to reflect on your skin. That's going to reflect on your physical appearance. You don't have to go through any weight loss journey or any weight loss program, because if you're healthy, as I was taught, a healthy body weighs a healthy weight. So if you're healthy, a healthy body weighs a healthy weight. And so I'd like to also talk a little bit more about, you know, hair weave. For many, many, many years, you know, we've been buying, you know, the hair to make our hair longer and flowy, and putting all of the, you know, doing all the braiding. And what we have come to find out is, I mean, it's horrible. It's really unimaginable, the chemical burden that has been added to hair weave is, it's just mind blowing. And
And we,
to know, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, and we can't be naive enough to think that that isn't intentional, or may not be. It may very well be intentional, that lead and these other things, because that's right on your head. Again, the scalp is, the skin as a whole is very porous, right? So it can take in all kinds of toxicity, and but through the scalp, it's a direct line to your bloodstream, and that's very problematic. And so a lot of what we are doing, you know, I've we traveled the country with hair shows, and I never forget, we were in Atlanta, and a lady walked up to us and pulled back. She was in tears. She pulled back her wig, and she had suffered from traction alopecia and basically had no hair. And you know, what I want to get people to understand is there's two things that have to happen there. Number one, you have to stop doing what caused the loss in the first place, which at a certain point you don't have a choice because she didn't have any hair. There was nothing to hang on to. But we have to understand what's happening when we do these tight pulls, and then you're hanging 2, 3, 4 feet of weave onto a small piece of hair that basically it has to carry the weight of that. And there are other things going on too with those tight, when it's that tight. There are all kinds of other issues that are really happening. You're really uncomfortable, but you've accepted a certain level of being uncomfortable in the name of the hairstyle. And so we have to really change our mindset on that. And, you know, that's going to take some time, but that's what the Health and Beauty Bodega is all about. It is about educating and not just on hair and things of that nature. Every woman that I know has, you know, some immeasurable level of beauty that isn't even physical at all.
Absolutely.
And so that's where the minister was talking about the spiritual. You know, I've met some very beautiful women, and short hair, long hair, no hair. You know, I've met them that are beautiful because the spirit and what they exude from the inside has been developed. And then that being said, you can meet a very beautiful woman that's devoid of true beauty because she's either very unhealthy, or she's physically she's not a healthy person, and maybe she doesn't have a healthy attitude, and so, or demeanor. All of those things will impact beauty. So we're holistic beings, right? We're not one-dimensional. We're not even two-dimensional, you know. And so all that we do, our approach when we're talking about health, our approach when we're talking about beauty, and they're intertwined, as we mentioned earlier. They're not separate and distinct. They really are.
That's right.
Yes, and because of that, we have to start using language and approaches to health and beauty that transcend just, you know, painting nails or some of the outward applications that we are using right now. And that's not to belittle or berate anyone that, you know, has weave or anything like that. We're really just sounding the alarm for what they've got in the weave. And same thing with the lace front wigs. Not necessarily the wig itself, even though some of those also are toxic, but the types of glue that they use to create the lace front look are very toxic. Very toxic. And the same could be said for nails and a host of other things. So we really have to start caring more about the health of the human and learning how to become more and more beautiful by virtue of the internal things that we do. I'm writing not a paper, but really just research that is showing, because I want to teach, you know, we know that there are things you can put on your skin that will definitely improve it. There's no doubt about that. There are external applications, things you can put on your skin that will. I'm definitely not saying don't do that.
Right.
But there are also internal things, there are foods that you can eat and foods that you should stay away from that will impact your skin as well. And what I found is that, and what the research has found is that a combination of both approaches, the internal and external, is actually the most effective. It's just that the internal will not just impact how you look outwardly, but it will also impact how you feel, your longevity of life, your energy level. All of that will be impacted by what you take in, the food that you eat. So that's why I married the health and beauty bodega and called it that, because I'm selling, and I've got some products here. Some of my sisters are making, this is Busy Bee, a sister here locally that's making all kinds of lotions and hair care products,
Yes.
soaps have navy beans in them, all
Wow.
kinds of things. This is important.
Right.
I've got a sister that makes Little Miss Earthly. She makes her own cleaning product, which, by the way, is great for stainless steel. So these are the external things that I have that impact. But I also have garlic.
Absolutely.
Also have seasoning that has no salt. One of the sisters locally makes it, and it has even powdered navy beans in it. I have another farmer friend that makes herbal tea blends. So again, I'm marrying those two concepts because they do go hand in hand.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. And we need to make sure, as Sister Laverne said, very good information, very good information. And I apologize for the background noise. There's a barking dog and some other things going on, but we'll get through this. Okay. So,
I'm like, no.
right. I was like, wow. But I wanted to mention, no, we're not trying to shame anyone from wearing weave, wearing nails, putting on makeup. Nope. But as you said, we are sounding the alarm because there is research and evidence. This is just not something that we're throwing out there to say, oh, well, this causes a problem, this causes, just to say it. No, these toxins have been proven to cause and give rise to particular cancers.
Yes.
You see about the talcum powder. You see, so, and you see it takes so long for it to really come out.
Yes.
So all this time we have been exposed to everything we're talking about in our personal hair care products. Personal because we have put them on our skin. And as you said, the skin is very porous. The scalp is porous. Anything that you put on your skin is absorbed, can be absorbed. Anything you put on your scalp, as you've said, is a direct link to your bloodstream.
Right.
Okay, you're brushing your teeth, what you're putting in your mouth, going below your gum line to your bloodstream.
Right.
Close to your brain, you put in the weave, there's toxic glues and other chemicals in the weave, close to the brain. And we wonder why, you have 20-year-olds forgetting things and don't, it's like, well, or they're not as sharp, or they're having, like you said, alopecia and infections, and then the hair doesn't grow. And why is that? And younger than that, we're talking, I saw a child. She could have only been maybe 3. And her hair was braided so tightly with weave that you could see the little bumps that were around her hairline. That's from that tension, alopecia, and loss of hair, but it was so tight.
Yeah.
And then I've had children that I've seen in the office. The mothers come in and they say, "Oh, she has this really bad sore in her head." And then I'm looking and saying, "You don't realize it's all of this fake hair, all of this weaved hair that you've weaved into this baby's head that is causing a contact, what we call a contact dermatitis,
Yes, ma'am.
that
Yes.
is causing a problem. You don't know that, you don't think that, and now I have to give you this special shampoo, this selenium, shampoo, give you an antibiotic. Now we have to give her an oral antibiotic, and I was just like, oh my God, our communities, we're just oblivious to the dangers
And
of those things. Go
yeah,
ahead.
absolutely. I'm just dovetailing off of that. Scalp stimulation is actually what helps the hair grow. Failure
Right.
to stimulate the scalp and failure. So let me, I'm gonna give you the real simple way of looking at it. When we stimulate our scalp through brushing and combing and even massaging the scalp, blood rushes up to the scalp, brushes up. And if there are nutrients in the blood because you're eating good food that is nutrient rich or nutrient dense, then that feeds your hair. If you go a month without even seeing your scalp because you've braided it and then you've latched on weave on that, and you've gone a month or more without even seeing your scalp and without your scalp seeing the light of day, not being stimulated, not being massaged, um,
Mm.
and so oil and dirt and possibly more likely dandruff and things accumulating on the scalp, you're slowing down the hair growth process. There are ways, they say protective styles. Well, I wear the this or that to protect my hair. The way you protect your hair is not by covering it up. Um,
Right.
it just isn't. Um, the protective styles can just be two braids. I'm good at that. It can just be a very loose ponytail that you braid, and you use the right type of wraps or ties. Um, there are all kinds of protective styles where you just go a long period of time without applying heat and without applying any strong tension that will weaken the hair shaft as it sits. So there are ways to protect the hair, just with how you style it. Um, but you don't have to cover it up and not see it at all in the name of wearing a protective style. Um, that is not, it's not, it's not the most logical thing if you think about it, because again, what really stimulates hair growth is the stimulation of the scalp, and through brushing, massaging, combing. Found Elijah Muhammad said, brush your hair 100 times at night. That stimulates the scalp. It stimulates blood flow. It increases blood flow. And then eating to live, which is why I've got all this,
Absolutely.
produce, because this is what eating to live looks like. It looks like cauliflower and celery and apples and squash and carrots and broccoli and strawberries and blueberries, and peppers, and that's what eating to live looks like, and properly preparing it. So we have to
Absolutely.
switch how we've been trained to think. We've been taught to eat the wrong food. We've been taught to eat the wrong food, and even though I know the right food, I'm guilty of eating the wrong food, some from time to time as well. But to make a habit out of it, to eat a lot of fried food, to eat a lot of heavy, greasy food, is detrimental to your skin. It's detrimental to your hair. It's detrimental to your entire being. It's detrimental to your your intestinal tract. And then if you're sick, and this is what I tell people all the time. So you got your hair done, you went and got your mani-pedi, you know, you got a new outfit, you know, you got some nice little shades, and you feel like crap. You don't want to get out of bed.
Wow. Yeah, right.
So, and that's, you know, everyone's talking nowadays about health is wealth, you know, and there's truth to that, of course, because if you feel good, then that your energy is going to exude from you. And there's a beauty that comes with feeling good.
Yes, absolutely.
and if you don't feel well, no amount of external applications is going to change that. So what I'm suggesting, what you're suggesting, is that we gradually begin to adopt different habits that will take us out of one reality and into the reality where health and beauty really are one and the same.
Absolutely.
And it can be done. And it just, I encourage everyone, it's incremental. I even wrote down things like, you know, vitamin C. There are some things that you can put on your skin that have vitamin C in them. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it doesn't have a lot of other harsh things in it. But there's also a lot of food that you can eat that will also allow your body to access vitamin C. And the things that really affect the skin and long-term skin health, specifically if we're talking about skin, start there, are things like vitamin C, biotin, omega-3 fatty acids. These are things that help to support healthy skin and hair, because the same processes that help our hair are also the same processes
Right.
and nutrients in. And
Absolutely.
so you can eat things like, there are topical things you can use, yes, that have vitamin C, but you can also, like for instance, collagen, which you see a lot of skincare products, collagen. Well, you can get collagen from egg whites, beans, citrus fruits, bell peppers, tomatoes, avocados. Avocados, by the way, is about on every list of good things to eat. Garlic, also on that list. Dairy, milk, cheese, not too much cheese. I learned that the hard way. Cilantro, bee pollen. Those are all some things that you can take in that will afford you the level of vitamin C that your body needs. And that's all stuff you eat. But it doesn't just help your skin and your nails and your hair. It helps your entire system. Again, we're a whole body. We're not just, you know, one thing.
Right. Right.
We are a whole system. And so it's better to tackle it internally and externally. And that's what I'm saying. Yes, go ahead and buy the cream that has the vitamin C in it. There's nothing wrong with that. What we're suggesting, however, is that the thing that's going to have the most long-term impact and keep you healthier longer, which is also going to translate to beauty, are going to be the things that you eat, the things that you take in internally. And I think the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan mentioned in that lecture that the mental, what you think. So it's also about what you're eating mentally. What are you feeding on? What's your Facebook feed look like? What's your Instagram feed look like? What are we feeding on? And how does that impact our thoughts? And how does that impact how we behave, how we feel? All of those things matter, because we are not one-dimensional beings. So we are three-dimensional or more beings, and therefore
Yes.
we have to approach health and beauty in a holistic way.
Absolutely. That was beautifully put. And we had a couple of comments that from Pamela Dominguez, who thanked us for giving the information on hair, especially the hairstyles that damage our children's scalps. And she wanted to suggest to her granddaughter, her 19-year-old granddaughter, to watch the replay of this, because it's unfortunate that what we're discussing is not discussed publicly and with any consistency in our communities. And unfortunately, you just have to do the work. You know, it's no quick fix to having health and beauty. It's no quick fix. It's not rocket science, though, either. Just eating what you're supposed to eat. I don't know anyone who, and there may be someone out there, so I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but if someone follows what we're taught in the Nation of Islam, how to eat to live 100%, thank Allah, thank God. But even those of us who are striving truly to follow how to eat to live, we're not doing this 100%. So if you did it 50%, 60%, 70%, you know, the better you are at practicing what's in how to eat to live, the healthier you will be all around. Overall health and wellness, including hair, scalp, nails, skin, the brushing the hair 100 times. I do that. I started doing that. One thing in particular, of course, as we age, we get the thinning of the hair and all of this. And I'm thankful that yes, like everyone else, but I practiced that and I noticed a difference.
Right.
I noticed a difference. I have noticed a difference because just eating, you know, just making sure you're getting the biotin, getting the B vitamins, getting vitamin C, just in my diet is good. But then you're working against the decrease in collagen that we kind of get. But I have to say overall that those people that are my age, the women that are my age, I don't experience, and I owe all this to how to eat to live. I don't experience the symptoms and some of the issues that some of my counterparts the same age experience. I don't have, you know, and so I thank Almighty God Allah for bringing that information, because that is at the foundation.
Yes,
that's at the foundation. And if you don't do that and you're thinking that you're going to get healthy, you're going to get natural, you know, the nice skin and the hair, and if you think that you're going to get that without addressing the main foundational issue, you're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. I'm sorry, you said it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You have to do a little work.
And there's so many guides out there, you know, that will tell you, and like I said, that's what I've been researching. Okay, what are the best things for the skin? And what are the best things for the hair, and how can we get them internally? And also externally, yes, there's nothing wrong with a good shampoo and conditioner and a good hair regimen. Of course, do that, yes. However, we have to be cognizant of the fact that most of what will impact your hair and your skin, especially long term, because as you mentioned, as you begin to age, everything starts to do some weird stuff, you know. And so you're at that point, you're going to really want to hone in on changing your diet and implementing some healthy habits, that like walking, just walking. You don't have to, you know, join a gym and do, you know, weightlifting, although there's nothing wrong with that, trust and believe.
Right. Yes.
It's really good for you. But I'm just saying, if you just walk, and I say all these things because sometimes when we get information, it can be kind of overwhelming. It's like,
Yes.
where do I start? I got weave in my hair. My grandchildren have weave in their hair. I've been, getting,
Yes.
and it can be kind of overwhelming. And I don't want that. We don't want that for our people. That's not the intent. The intent is really to say, there are a lot of toxins out there. And if you pick up How to Eat to Live, which really, frankly, is the best way to start any type of life change, in my opinion, as it pertains specifically to health, mental and spiritual, and our
Yes.
physical, that book will go a long way in helping you.
Absolutely.
But it can be overwhelming. First time I read it, I was like, okay, everything I'm doing is wrong. Like, I'm way here. And it took time. And so I'm saying to anyone that may be listening, take your time. Take it incrementally. Start with little steps. Get up in the morning and do a 5-minute breathing exercise after you pray. Or start taking walks. Start incorporating walks into your life after dinner. Start intentionally drinking water and pushing away soda and a lot of other sugary drinks. Just get rid of those. And, take incremental steps. Health and beauty will find each other. They will find
Yes.
They will find
That That's wonderful. Absolutely. Very good advice. However, I'm asking, along with that, I'm asking that there is some steps that are taken regarding the weave component, because there's direct link to toxins that will take away your health and
Absolutely.
beauty. I mean, and it's a direct assault on your health. So, you can soak the hair. This is what I've been taught by those that I know that are in the hair industry, in the health and wellness industry regarding that. You can soak it in, they say you can soak it in vinegar that helps to strip and remove the vinegar and water. Of course, there's a vinegar and water mixture that will help to strip a lot of the toxins off. Some say wash it like you're washing your hair. Some say literally, you can wash it first before you. So I don't know how those things, but those are recommendations that I was given from those who are in the hair industry, because they talked about the toxins that are on. You have to take those, rinse those through or wash those through, so that you're not as affecting, so that the load isn't such a heavy toxic burden. And Walaikum Salam, our minister, Chad Muhammad, student minister Chad in Tampa, Florida. Walaikum Salam. And he said, we have a lot of great suggestions. Okay, he said he loves walks. Me too, actually. So I want to just take a break for just a second to, as we call a station breaks, right? I want to acknowledge the Closing the Gap Broadcast Network. We have a new website. Please go and check it out. Go and look at the site. Please go to ctgbnetwork.com. ctgbnetwork.com, and look at the new website. And of course, in order to make all of the broadcasters that we have of the network continue, so we can continue to broadcast, please donate to the Closing the Gap broadcast via PayPal, jkingdom1@aol.com, or you can cash app $CTG broadcast and Zelle Closing the Gap broadcast at Gmail. Of course, we need our community support so that we can continue to bring such guests as our sister here, Sister Vivian Muhammad of the Elephant Gardens, and continue to bring other guests that can give us life-saving information. Okay? So as we wind down, Sister Vivian, I'd like to ask, number one, if there's anyone who would like to ask her a question, please place your questions in the chat, and I'll also put my information on how you can follow me or contact me. You can follow me on Instagram at besthealth19. That's also on Facebook, Health at Its Best, and the website, healthatitsbest.org. That's also my contact information. If you're having any medical issues or problems that you'd like a consultation, please reach out and go to the website and request a consultation. Okay, Sister Vivian, please give us what are some recommendations as we go towards the close of the program. I'd like you to take some time to give what your initial recommendations would be. You already gave one. So you gave one, which would be to go through How to Eat to Live. And I second that. Go to How to Eat to Live. Just go through it. And any change which is in particular, which is sustainable, a sustainable change that you make will help with your overall long-term goal of attaining good or perfect health. So what are just a couple of other steps that you would recommend?
Well, I guess I'm a little prejudiced. I am an urban farmer, so I would say start growing some food for yourself. Gardening,
yes,
and is in and of itself a wonderful way to relax, relieve stress most of the time. And I would suggest growing your own food, even if it's just in a little pot, and you grow some herbs, grow some mint so you can have mint tea at night before you go to bed. It's super easy to grow. Grow some basil and some other things so you can have fresh herbs, some sage in the garden. It'll come back every year. So I would say get into growing something. You don't have to be a master gardener or a farmer to grow. Yeah, I would say that's one step that I would take. The closer you are to the earth and the more you commune with the earth, I think you will want it. It kind of grows a desire in you to be more healthy, more one with the planet. And I would say that the eating to live, and then go, if you live in a city or in a rural, either way, see if you can find some farmers that may need help. Most of the farmers that I know need help, and volunteer and learn, and get out in the sun and get you some vitamin D and get fit, and make some friends. And I'm the type that here at the Elephant Gardens, we say you work, you eat. You work with us, you take food home. You don't work, you will not eat unless you buy it.
Right.
But and that's really just to encourage more people to get their hands in the soil, and I think starting down that journey, as I started down that journey, I want to say I was in the hair care had cleaning businesses and other stuff. I was not a farmer. But once I took that turn, the more I desired to eat to live, the more I desired
Mhm.
control over my food. And I wanted to grow something. And who knew that tearing up the backyard to what it has led to? But I'm grateful to Allah for the journey. And there is a definite, undeniable connection between true
Mhm.
beauty and
Yes.
I know that many of the Muslims in particular will send messages and they'll say, I hope this letter finds you in the best of health and spirit. And trust me, if you're
Yes. Yes.
healthy, if you're healthy and your spirit is good, you are beautiful. um,
Absolutely.
so those are my little small suggestions for everyone. If you're, feel free to reach out.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That was wonderful. And along with that, you touched on it a little earlier. You stated to just, get up and I believe you said just taking some deep breaths, doing some deep breathing. And you mentioned about the healthy mind, or, that is extremely important because, again, when we think of health, we oftentimes think about physical health, physiological, the physiological component to health. In How to Eat to Live, it states that there must be physical health and, what you eat and what you do physically, along with what you do about your thinking,
Right.
that's health.
That's right.
Okay. So we need the both of them to be healthy.
That's right.
Okay. So you cannot have physical health. You can't have good health if you have physical health and not good emotional, mental health, and vice versa. Okay. So we need to also just keep that in mind and doing something, just as you suggested, something as simple as, and we say as simple, it may not be simple, but we have to make time. Again, we know life is busy, there's a lot going on, but even though there is so much going on around you, if you just took time to balance your mind a little bit and just the simple 5 to 10 minutes of time on your own doing deep breathing, calming the mind, you would probably be surprised on how much that would help calm your spirit, help calm your mind a little bit, and help allay some of the anxiety that we could get by looking at what's going on around us. So that's extremely important. And just taking the time to calm the mind is something we should do every day and something we should absolutely take, again, 5 to 10 minutes for ourselves to help balance ourselves. I mean, we can do that. We can do that. And I challenge you to do it. I challenge everyone to do it, and get back with me on our next broadcast and let me know how you felt within the next broadcast, which is 2 weeks from today, how you felt by just taking 5 to 10 minutes a day of deep breathing and calming and relaxing the mind. Okay? Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I put your information in the chat, and I'm going to run the banner with your information on it again. Let me find it. Here we are. There it is. Contact Sister Vivian, theelephantgardens.net. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We look forward to having you again very, very soon. We need to bring you on once a month to give us some updates on everything. We got to work that out with your busy schedule. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. And I look forward
Thank
to
you.
talking with you again very soon. Go ahead. Anything else?
No, just thank you, and take little steps, and we'll get there together. Okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, you have a good rest of your evening. And thank you again for being a guest. It was wonderful information, and we need much more information like this from more people in our community, honestly.
Having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am. All right.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, ma'am. Good evening. Peace.
This house is dedicated to knowledge and to the spreading of knowledge. Elijah Muhammad inspired new thought, new mind, new way of civilization among black people. But he wanted a house from which a light could be lifted up to give guidance to all who would be guided as this world begins to close down. This National Center for the re-education and retraining of the black man and woman, but for the totality of the human family of our planet. I named this mosque after the only woman that the Quran names a chapter after, the mother of Jesus, Maryam. All human beings need to be re-educated. That is the purpose of the National Center.